True.
An absolute truth is not unchanging.
It is unchanging.
That's what I said. So there are different truths.
Right,
right?
you
So the
believe.
absolute truth
Okay,
is unchanging.
I respect you as a
Different
human
truths.
being.
Right.
I presume you are a Shia or a Sunni Muslim.
I'm a Sunni.
Aha. Oh yeah, they're usually the most arrogant. Thank you.
It's unfortunate that you
No,
know nothing about
I
me.
have a friend,
You
Inverted
have
Commas.
you have assumed so much
I
about
have
me.
a friend who is a Sunni.
What is
And
my
he's
name?
one of the most arrogant motherfuckers I know.
My
Okay, so
God.
that
what
means
is-
I'm like him. Does that necessitate that?
Come on.
Does it
Please.
necessitate that? I don't see.
You
that
want to
I'm-
debate
am
about the
am I
religion of
speaking?
peace?
Am I speaking nonsense here?
You are a disruptor, and I credit you for entering into the spirit
When you
of free
speak
speech.
when you speak about my religion,
It's
of course,
not your religion.
I want to know
All you
why
own
you are
is
speaking
a
out of
mystical
ignorance.
story. The King of Jordan is here, and the King of Morocco. Good to see you, man. The King of Morocco is here. One of the best Arab countries. It's a long way from Mecca.
Very interesting. How a very simple question leads to so many assumptions and accusations.
Well,
When I said nothing, but
you said nothing.
I
Okay,
said
you're
nothing.
admitting you're dumb
I
now.
said nothing.
Says
No,
nothing.
there's a difference, right? There is a difference. You didn't even let me finish this sentence. I said nothing except what is reasonable.
2 points.
To a point, right?
You're
so then,
a Muslim,
so
and
then
I
do not,
respect your
then do not,
fundamentalist
then do not.
I don't like
Assume
Jew
things.
fundamentalists.
What?
I don't like Christian fundamentalists, and I don't like Muslims.
It's not about what you like and what you don't like. It's about truth.
Because
Are you a
I
sincere
have
man?
to see the evidence
Are you
of
a
a
sincere-
merciful God. You can. That's
And
my
what is
good
the evidence you are
friend
looking for?
Mohammed Siddiqui used to say.
And
to
what
me
is the evidence
many,
you are
many
looking for?
years ago.
You are saying you need the evidence. What evidence are you looking for?
The killing of the Palestinian people.
أعوذ بالله.
Why is that evidence?
It's evidence for atheism, and
How is it an evidence for atheism?
this is going to the stupid level now.
No, it's not. How?
so-
I'm asking you for evidence. You can claim something.
Answer the question.
You can claim something, but
Right.
you have to evidence it.
Okay, Israel has the best
Very good,
weapons in the Middle East and has
Yemeni.
no conscience in killing thousands of Palestinians.
So what
which,
yeah?
if you let me finish,
I'll let
I'd be
you finish.
most grateful to your fundamentalist Muslim
I will let you
ideology.
finish.
No, he's interrupting me again.
This one is.
I just said I will let you
You
finish.
cannot debate a Muslim. Remember, they are right, and all of us who are not Muslim
My
are going to
God.
hell. That is the teaching of Islam.
No,
Look
it's not.
how he's
No,
aggressive.
it's not. Answer my question. I'll let you finish,
No,
and
you
then I'll have
won't.
to educate you about my
No,
religion.
you won't. You're incapable of being quiet.
Are you-
You're arrogant, and you do not
Look,
want to
oh
learn
dear.
anything.
I'm not saying anything.
Because you might just learn something from me, because Herodotus is not just the only great ancient scholar. There are many, and I better bring a few of my books along, which are far more valuable than the Holy Quran, because they represent humanity's heritage. Mainly Mediterranean, Babylonian,
It's
Egyptian,
a
Roman,
category
Greek.
error. It's a category error. You cannot compare.
I just have.
Well, fallaciously.
You don't even know who wrote the Quran. I've had that.
Actually, I do. There are 40 between 40 and 60 scribes of the Quran. Do you know why they differ? Why we differ
I
in the number?
disagree. I have an alternative answer. Are we going to
I'm
debate?
speaking from knowledge.
Would you admit that being a Muslim is sometimes wrong and that Islam is not a religion of peace?
I must say, you are asking me, you are making claims about the Quran. Stick to that.
I just have.
No, stick to that and discuss that, right?
Right.
You are saying we don't even know who wrote the Quran. Actually, that is
I
not true.
just answered
We have
what you're
40.
positing.
Right. No, I'm
I
telling
just
you.
answered what you were saying. But as usual,
No, you made the
interrupt
claim.
me.
You made the claim.
Again, Muslim fundamentalists want to win at all costs.
No, you made the claim.
Flipping Allah.
Substantiate your claim.
You know? No.
Substantiate your claim.
Well, you're not allowing me to speak. You interrupt me all the time.
You haven't done what I've
You're
asked you
interrupting
to.
me again.
No, actually, you were quiet while I was speaking.
Can you be quiet for 60
1 minute,
seconds?
60 seconds. Go.
What do you need more? I've got a lot to say.
You asked for 60
I've been
seconds.
coming here for 30 years.
You have my permission for 60
Oh,
seconds.
yeah, fascist as well as Muslim. Have my permission.
You asked for 60 seconds? I've granted you 60 seconds.
Or to make the civil service.
Who was the Quran written by?
Debate over. Let us respect all Muslims.
Who was the Quran written by?
And remind
So
them
there
that
are
Jews are
between
killing
40 and
Muslims.
60 scribes, right?
Yeah.
It's
I'm
on
not going to name them all,
TV.
right? But
They've
the
been
most
killing
prominent ones
Muslims
are the
in
likes of
Palestine
Abu Bakr,
since 1948.
Omar,
Yeah.
Uthman, Ali,
That's second, third,
Zayd ibn
fourth.
Thabit.
Company.
Yeah, the third, all the four caliphs.
Yeah, yeah.
Zayd bin
Islam is
Thabit,
divided between Shia and Sunni.
Amr ibn
You know that
al-As.
actually 72
Yeah.
different-
What would you say about the argument that there's different translations? Because I was reading about
That's not the argument.
how I believe it was like Abu Bakr
Yeah.
would then get like, there was like families in Arabia that had their own version of the Quran.
Everywhere.
And then
Okay.
it was all like different translations of dialects.
Yeah, yeah.
Stuff like that. So like certain meshes could have been different in one Quran to like a different
Yeah.
in another Quran.
No problem.
And then you got like,
Sikhs are very
you got,
good. They
like,
don't
what is
claim
known
to
as
know the
the
truth. That's why they call their
Barj,
religion
Duri,
Sikh.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at the whole history because now you're asking about the whole history.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
So
all right.
I'm nerdy about this.
That's
I
right.
wanna learn.
No, it's good. It's good. I like that. Okay. So what happened is when the Quran was initially revealed to the Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him, it was in one dialect, which is the Qurayshi dialect. But there were not just Qurayshi people. There were not just Qurayshi Arabs. So there were the young people, the old people, the people with different dialects. So Allah revealed it into 6 different dialects as well as differences in meaning. So what you see in our readings, where there are differences in the dialects as well as the meaning, that is actually because of what was revealed. But the thing is, the Prophet ﷺ combined these different readings that was revealed to him, of course by the authority of God, and taught them to each of his companions.
Back in the
Right?
day, they believed
Some of them 1, some of them several, some of them 10, whatever, right? So they learned these recitations and they propagated it. Now, when the Prophet ﷺ died, Abu Bakr didn't want to compile it into a codex, right?
creation of this
Because
so-called religion
what
of
happened
peace
is he was very
wholesale
holding on to the
instigated
tradition of the
by
Prophet.
destroying
So he's like, how can I do something that the Prophet himself didn't do?
pictures.
Omar convinced him by saying, well, in the Quran it already refers to itself as a
Maybe for
book.
a good reason,
So
there is
putting
no
it between
picture of
bindings
Muhammad in
is
any
not
law.
going against what it is.
They would have regarded
Yeah.
that as evil.
So it made sense to him. So Abu Bakr then commissioned those who were already scribing the Quran. And Zayd bin Thabit, being one of the most proficient in the Quran, was the leader of that committee.
So
they compiled the Quran. And they left it with Hassan. And that remained with them until Uthman. Now, at the time of Uthman, this is when the Muslims spread beyond the Arab borders. So now they're intermingling with non-Arabs. So now non-Arabs are learning the Quran. They are starting to hear different recitations. So now they're arguing. They're arguing about the different recitations, even though they're all correct. But because they don't know, out of their own ignorance, they start, screaming at each other, fighting each other to guard the Quran. So Uthman hears of this and he says, okay, I'm going to do something about it.
Where is like the evidence that it was written first in the Qurayshi dialect?
In the Qurayshi dialect.
Yeah.
So
Excuse my pronunciation.
that's all right. So the evidence of this is that every single messenger is sent to their own people in their own language, right? So it makes no sense for the messenger to come to his people speaking a different dialect, because you're not
That
going
was
to.
his dialect of the time.
Because his dialect, the dialects are different. You understand things differently.
What bit of different tangent there. What would you say about, so like I was looking at like the historicity of the city of Mecca, right? And from what I've researched, Petra, so everything that I've like seen in the Quran that would like explain the
Dan
city.
Gibson theory.
Yeah, I think it's quite like it's quite interesting to understand that like Petra is probably the only city where Muhammad could have been from, rather than Mecca.
Well, let's think about it, right? Let's dive into it. What would the arguments be when Dan Gibson made this theory? What was his primary evidence of it?
I think it was because of like there is nothing. So obviously Muhammad passed away in 632 AD, but there is no historical evidence for Mecca being a city before 800 AD. Whereas
How do we study history?
through like sources and facts that you can find, that's like
Does that
written or
include or exclude Arab sources?
it includes every source.
Right, but when you look at the Orientalist tradition, right, and how they examine history, they prioritize external sources about a people.
Yeah, because like, it's the same with Christianity.
No, it's
so
not. Because when Orientalists examine Christian history, what are the sources they look at?
But a lot of it is, so for like Christianity, you'll have people like Josephus Flavius, who was like a known person who would dislike Christians, but he was outside of a Christian
No, but
context.
he speaks about
He speaks about
Christians
Jesus himself, and like he talks
That's a
about.
fake. That's a fake quote.
Yeah.
No, but it's like the example I'm trying to say is that they'll have people outside of Christianity or the religion itself that will then.
But the thing is, when we know about Jesus, the details.
Second century sources now that really distinctly say that Jesus existed. Not really, they're not based upon the gospel accounts as well. The testimony of Flavianum, which is what you're talking about, is now.
Yeah. I know. But I want to grant it because that's not the principle that I'm looking for. I'm trying to establish the principle of how we study history. Okay? And what is the most authentic way of attributing history to history. Right? So when it comes to the information that we have about Jesus, what we know about Jesus, that doesn't come from Josephus, because even if we are to accept that quote, right, in passing, it doesn't give us a lot. It just says that Jesus was crucified by Pontius Pilate, right? That's all we know. But when you see the Orientalists speak about Jesus, they're mostly using Christian sources, whether they're Gnostic sources.
I was just trying to come along on the sense of that, like there would be outside of Christian sources that would
state, but there is very minimal information about the man Jesus from outside Christian, from extra biblical sources, right? Or extra Christian sources. So likewise with Islam, when you're looking at the history of the Arabs, who's going to document the history of the Arabs?
I assume Arabs.
The Arabs, right? So when
Who
we
was
talk
the
about
father
history,
of the Arabs?
sorry?
Who was the father of the Arabs?
Well, Ishmael. Ishmael, when it comes to
before Ishmael.
So before Ishmael,
before
we have a
Ishmael.
different tradition.
No. You just spoke about Jesus. Who do you claim Jesus is? Do you believe he's a prophet?
Yes, he is.
Does a prophet
Jesus is-
listen? Does a prophet tell a lie?
No, of course not.
Jesus said, "And we're not born again into the Spirit of God. We won't enter heaven."
Yeah, but you asked about the Arabs.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, that's where it all come from. The first Arab, what was ever known, was led. It was come from.
That's in your tradition.
No. That's not my tradition. I'm just talking about what God said. You see, that's the problem.
No, but
Everybody-
hold on a second. If you're talking about, because I want to get back to him.
Oh,
because
go on,
I
carry on. I broke you up.
Yeah,
Go on,
because-
carry on. Sorry. Go on,
So
carry
I'm
on.
just trying to learn.
No, it's good. Right? Yeah, I don't mind, but let's try. Let's just try and have. I don't mind coming to you later. It's not a problem. Okay. So. Oh my! Everyone wants a piece now.
Whereas the Gospels are packed with letters.
Yeah, I think what I was trying
we
to
agree.
say-
We agree.
We agree with that. But what we were trying to say was that.
And what you see in the Quran doesn't correlate with what the historians saw of Mecca.
Not true.
Yeah.
Not true. And we'll make this.
You can explain.
Well, this is what I'm trying to do.
I think that's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah,
Though, that
so-
like, I wanted to know like, outside of Islamic sources or outside of Christian
It's
sources.
just man-made,
this
mate.
is-
It's
but this
just
is the thing.
man-made.
Yeah, but like that's like obviously these guys believe in Allah.
So this is
No.
the thing is even if you look
I
at
was curious to know
when we
what
look at
get away from
Islamic
that.
sources, the reason why we treat the Islamic sources seriously is because the way that our history was transmitted.
No, definitely not.
The way we guarded our
Same as
history
every
is
other
by
Catholic Protestant.
authenticating
All in
the
myth,
events.
if you want
right?
to say
There are
that.
many things
Muslims,
said about
Arabs,
the
all in myth,
prophecies
if you
being
want to say
about
that.
what happened in Mecca, about the language, about
Again, it's the
lineages,
same
and whatnot.
situation. It
That are
comes
false,
later on.
right? And we
There are no
document that they are
contemporary
false.
sources
Us as
that-
Arabs, we
even in the
document that they're
first
false.
century, talk
Why?
about
Why do we say that some things are false and
There
some
is
things are
nothing in the
authentic?
first century.
Because
That's
there's
Christian.
naturally
If you
criteria
go back to the
established,
if you go back to the
I'm not going to go into the whole
Christian,
details
just
of the
got a
criteria,
short word for
right?
Christian.
But just to establish that there is a criteria.
There are no distinct Christian people. Let's give a quick break.
Hey, what's your name?
Mohammed.
John.
Sorry?
John.
John.